Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be going over Chapter 3 in Animal Farm. And by now you should have read Chapter 3 and you also should have completed the questions for Chapter 3 that were posted to the Google Classroom. We're going to be focusing in terms of Chapter 3 on literary terms, specifically foreshadowing, characterization, and a new one, which is maxims. We're going to go over some key plot events, and we're going to dig deeper into some passages and really connect to propaganda techniques and persuasive techniques and our persuasive appeals. So for literary terms, we have foreshadowing. You know what foreshadowing is. Foreshadowing is clues and hints as to what's going to happen later in a story. And we really have to focus now on what the pigs are doing. The pigs, all of them have taken on a manager position. They're supervising the other animals working on the farm. So they are no longer equal to the other animals. Instead, they are elevated in their status, which is against the tenets of animalism. Their argument for this is that the privilege of some themselves is based necessarily on the sacrifice of others. We're going to really dig deep into that as we go forward, and you're going to figure out what happened to that milk from yesterday. We have characterization. So, characterization is revealing a character's personality and the content of their true character within themselves based on their actions and their words and their thoughts. It could be direct. The writer could directly state what their personality is or what they physically look like. I mean, we all grasp what they physically look like. But there's also indirect characterization based on a character's interactions with other characters, just clues that reveal their deeper, truer selves. So for indirect characterization, we have Boxer's motto that he will work harder. This says a lot about him as a worker and as a contributor to the farm, that he's always going to go that extra mile to contribute whatever he can to the greater good of their cause. We also see, and this is an indirect characterization, Molly's absence from what's happening in Chapter 3, and it really reveals her selfishness and her pettiness. And then we also see the dogs who only memorize the 7 commandments and the motto because they're obedient. So that reveals a lot about their character as well. And for the new one, we have a maxim. Maxims are short statements that generally express a truth. In Chapter 3, we have the maxim 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, which is indicating that, all animals that go upon 4 legs and birds, which have wings that count as animal legs, they are friends. And anything that walks on 2 legs or basically is a human being, that's the enemy. Another maxim that you may have heard, throughout your life is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So these are short, pithy statements that reveal a general truth. The events in Chapter 3, it was a busy chapter. So we begin, and the hard work of the animals on the farm has paid off, and they have a very successful harvest. We learn that the pigs are not actually working, but rather they're supervising the work of the others on the farm. And, again, this is a red flag. This is going to be problematic going forward. Even in this chapter, problems arise from the power imbalance between the pigs and the other animals. And all of the animals are working from sunup to sundown. All of the animals are contributing in whatever capacity they can to the success of the harvest and to the purpose of their cause. There's more food on Animal Farm than ever before, and I want you to know this. There is more food now that they're not sharing it with other farms or with humans. There's an abundance of food on this farm to take care of the animals on the farm. We're going to have problems with that going forward also, but that is certainly true that they have plenty. We also have more time for leisure for the animals than ever before. They're indulging on Sundays, they have group meetings, they're celebrating, they're resting. Everybody deserves a day off, right? Boxer is determined to go above and beyond his call of duty to help the farm succeed. He's a really good character. He's a big draft horse. He has an incredible work ethic. His heart's in the right place. He's a really good character. His personal motto that he's taken on for himself is I will work harder. Boxer is always going to do whatever he can to help the farm be successful. We also meet Benjamin, who is an obstinate donkey, and he's certainly not overjoyed with the way things are going on the farm. I guess donkeys tend to have a gloomy disposition. Think back to, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. He keeps saying donkeys live a long time. He's not completely buying into the success of the animals on the farm. He has his doubts. Napoleon and Snowball are fiercely debating basically any policy for Animal Farm, any direction. Their leadership styles are very, very different. Snowball wants to form committees and have a consensus on any decision that is reached. He really wants group effort. And Napoleon is more authoritarian. He's more of a dictator. He has brilliant ideas, but he does not want contributions from anyone else. It's more his way, and his way is how it's going to be. They disagree on just about everything, even retirement, which is a brand new concept for the animals on the farm. They can't agree on the proper age for animals to retire so they can enjoy their golden years. And, it's good to have healthy debate, but right now we're not making much progress in terms of leadership on the farm. All of the animals in this chapter are taught to read. They all learn how to read, but it doesn't quite stick. Some animals just couldn't be less interested in learning how to read. They don't see a purpose for it. And I told you yesterday, education is critical. Education is thinking, free thinking, free thought, autonomous thought. You can't be brainwashed when you're thinking for yourself. You can't be controlled when you're thinking for yourself. So again, red flag here that not all of them want to be free thinkers, not all of them want to think for themselves. Again, the dogs only care about learning the 7 commandments, and they're very obedient. The horses, they try to learn, but they get stuck on just a few letters of the alphabet and they can't get past it, and they blindly believe whatever the pigs tell them. They're very trusting of those who can read, and other animals generally just don't care, so they don't. They just never bother to learn how to read, which again is the equivalent of thinking. They're not learning to think for themselves. They're not attempting to be autonomous. The pigs managed to then summarize the 7 commandments into a single maxim, since the animals either can't or won't read the commandments that they wrote on the barn wall. And the single maxim, the single, poignant, pithy phrase is 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Whatever goes on 4 legs is a friend. Whatever walks on 2 legs is an enemy. And we had that little debate with the birds about wings, and it is agreed upon that, as long as animals don't have hands like humans do, they're all going to be okay. They're all considered friends. Jessie and Bluebell both had a litter of puppies, and Napoleon takes them away in this chapter. He absconds with the puppies. He says he's going to educate them. Basically, as time goes on, everyone forgets those puppies ever existed. they're not thought of again, they're not heard from again, nobody sees them again. It's understood that Napoleon is working on their education, but this is a violation of one of the tenets of animalism that Old Major, from chapter 1, he really wanted to see come to fruition, that animals could raise their children. That baby horses weren't taken away from their mothers, puppies weren't taken away from their mothers. And here we have a situation where, again, someone with power over has taken away the children of a member of this society. And that's not what the goal was. The goal was to have a natural life, raise their natural children, and be equal and equally free. And so the milk. We've come to the question of the milk. What happened to the milk from chapter 2? It was stated it went missing, and we figured out where it went. Squealer tells the other animals that the milk went to the pigs, and that the pigs really need the milk to keep Farmer Jones away, because the milk helps them think clearer. And this whole thing sounds like a crazy lie, because it is. They don't really need the milk any more than any other animal on the farm. They're fine without it, or they should share it equally. But the point is, Squealer is spinning a lie justifying why the pigs deserve more things than any other animal, which is not true. But they believe it because they have no reason to doubt him, which they should be doubting him because they should be thinking for themselves. All right, so your questions that you submitted for chapter 3, we're going to tackle some of those and then we're going to answer them. The first question, why are the pigs the most important animals? Well, they really shouldn't be, right? They shouldn't be. They should all be equal. They should all have the same privilege. None should have any more privilege than any other. No animal should have any more power or control than any other. But I suppose the reason why the author chose pigs as being the most important animals is because pigs are awfully similar to human beings, just physiologically. So they make a good character to be, the the one absconding with power, the one, utilizing privilege, employing their privilege, relying upon their privilege. How did they get their harvest so successful? Well, the animals all worked tirelessly day and night because they had a momentum, inspiring them. They realized that the harder they work, the more they benefit from it, the more all the animals would benefit on the farm from their hard effort. So they had a huge successful harvest, and they gathered all these food sources to survive the winter, and they're very proud of themselves. And it's really, in real life too, it is incredible what one can accomplish with some momentum and with a group who's all feeling some type of energy and moving in the same direction. The third question, what was the animal's drive to accomplish their goal? And again, it's the realization, the actualization that whatever they're doing at this moment, they're doing for the good of themselves and the good of their friends. They're benefiting themselves for the first time. And that's really powerful. When everything that you do is paying off in droves, it's really inspiring. So the animals, being the sole beneficiaries of their hard work on this farm, is what is driving them, what's motivating them to be as successful as possible. Why do the pigs need milk? Again, they don't. They say they do. And this is why it's a problem. They said they need the milk to continue with their brain work, with their planning, with their strategizing to keep Farmer Jones away. But that's just a lie. They're just pulling the wool over the other animals' eyes. Part 2 of this, don't the pigs have too much power? Yes, they do have too much power. Remember, the original goal is that all the animals on this farm are equal, that none will have any more power than any other. No animal will have dominion over any other animal. And instead, the thing about power is that it's corruptible. People want to be the one with all the power. And, it's hard to maintain this perfect concept of total equality and cooperation. All right, so your questions, they've been great. You've been doing a really good job coming up with questions at the end of your reading, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. These have been fantastic questions. I'm very impressed. So keep up the hard work. Make sure that you're reading the chapters. Make sure that you're doing the post-reading activities. Make sure that the next day when the worksheet is posted, that you're completing that as accurately as possible as well. And then last, once again, we're going to dig deeper into some things from this chapter. We are really going to focus on Squealer. So the last page or two of the chapter, Squealer's use of propaganda and persuasive techniques to justify the pig's behavior, the pig's actions, why they need the milk, why they say they need the milk, and apparently they're taking apples too. He employs bad logic. He employs fear. He is really resting his argument on ethos and pathos. So we're going to dust the cobwebs off and try to remember what ethos and pathos are. A quote from chapter 3, really highlighting this bad reasoning, this bad logic, and also employing ethos, which is him speaking from his authority, from his perspective as a professional. And logos also, which is trying to hinge itself upon science and reason and fact. This is what the quote says. "Comrades," he cried, "you do not imagine, I hope, that we pigs are doing this in a spirit of selfishness and privilege. Many of us actually dislike milk and apples. I myself dislike them. Our sole object in taking these things is to preserve our health. Milk and apples, this has been proven by science, comrades, contain substances absolutely necessary to the well-being of a pig. First, this is a terrible argument. Nobody should fall for this. But, the animals trust him, they blindly believe him. But this is bad logic. There's no proof, there's no whatever. And he's trying to say this has been proven by science, which science, in fact, is logos. But where's the science? Where's the study? Where's the evidence? It doesn't exist because it's not real. And ethos is, again, speaking from, his perspective, his personal expertise. Like, he doesn't like the milk and apples. Nobody should like the milk and apples. They're doing this out of necessity. So Squealer's just a really good liar, and he's going to continue lying, and he's going to get better at lying, and the lies are going to be worse in terms of how they impact the other animals. Part 2 of this quote, Squealer again is speaking, and this quote really demonstrates the fear technique, and we're resting the argument on pathos now, which is an appeal to emotion. He says, "We pigs are brain workers. The whole management and organization of this farm depend on us. Day and night we are watching over your welfare. It is for your sake that we drink that milk and eat those apples. Do you know what would happen if we pigs failed in our duty? Jones would come back." And then he goes on to say, "Surely they don't want Jones to come back because things were way worse when Farmer Jones was there." So he's using fear. You know how their lives were worse. They don't want to return to that. And fear is an emotion. So that's it for that little presentation. Let's try to go over some of the questions from Chapter 3. Chapter 3 was a different type of worksheet. This one was more interactive. So it's a 3-level study guide. That's what this is called. There's 3 levels. It gets increasingly harder. And I don't know if you've caught on yet, but I've been, color coding all of our questions. The green ones should be easy. The yellow requires a little bit of thinking, and the red ones are more difficult. So level 1 of your study guide, you are reading the statement and you're determining whether it's true or false, and then you're returning to the story and you're going to find the page number where this can be proven true or proven false. And the statements are, after kicking Farmer Jones out, the pigs took over the leadership roles. All the animals worked hard except Boxer. After the rebellion, the animals worked 7 days a week. The animals learned to read. So true, false, and the page number where that information could be proven true or false. Level 2, you again have a statement. You're determining whether it's true or false. And then in addition to a page number, now you're giving a couple words or a sentence to prove whether this is true or false. And these statements are: Napoleon is taking care of Jessie and Bluebell's puppies. The animals are now living the lives they had always dreamed of. The pigs are taking advantage of the other animals. And the animals are better off than when Jones was around. All right. And the third level, you're going to read the statement again, true or false. And this is connecting to your own personal life, to your own opinions, your own philosophy, your own belief system. The statement is: everyone in society should make the same amount of money as long as they work equally hard. And that's talking about us, our society, people who are living and working in our society. I want your opinion. Do you think that all of us should make the same amount of money as long as we are all working at what we do equally as hard? You're going to figure that out, and you're going to write your answer there. All right, so again, all this work is being posted for you in the Google Classrooms. I hope you're watching these videos. Please contact me with any questions or concerns. And I'm thinking, in the very near future, we'll have a whole class Google Meet session so you guys could see each other and we could just talk about some things that pertain to the book or classwork or whatever. So that's it for today. And we just have one more video for tomorrow. You should read chapter 4 now and answer your chapter 4 questions. And I'll see you again tomorrow. All right. Bye.